First contact gone wrong. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge of the ESS Harmony, Earth's most advanced diplomatic vessel, watching the swirling purple clouds of the Vraxian homeworld beneath them. After 2 centuries of space exploration, humanity had finally made contact with an advanced alien civilization. The Vraxians, with their crystalline technology and mastery of quantum mechanics, seemed like ideal first contact candidates. Final diplomatic package transmitted, Captain. Lieutenant David Okafor reported from his communication station. The Vraxian High Command acknowledges receipt. Sarah nodded, maintaining her professional composure despite her excitement. This was history in the making. Humanity's first formal diplomatic exchange with an alien civilization. The Harmony carried Earth's finest diplomats, scientists, and cultural experts, all eager to establish peaceful relations. Their response is unusual, Captain. David frowned, adjusting his neural interface. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, but it's not the expected diplomatic protocol. Before Sarah could respond, the ship's AI cut in with urgent priority. Multiple energy signatures detected. Vraxian warships decloaking. They're charging weapons. Shields up, Sarah ordered, but she knew the Harmony wasn't built for combat. They'd come in peace, equipped with defensive screens, meant only to handle solar radiation and space debris. The first Vraxian blast hit like a hammer, sending crew members sprawling. They're targeting our engines, Air reported clinically. Hull breach on decks 3 through 5. Diplomatic quarter has taken direct hits. Sarah's heart sank as she realized what that meant. Ambassador Rodriguez and her entire team, gone in an instant. Get me Earth Command. Now. They're jamming all conventional channels, David reported, fingers dancing across his console. But I can get a quantum burst through their interference. Do it, Sarah ordered, gripping her chair as another blast rocked the ship. All hands, abandon ship, get to the escape pods. As her crew scrambled to evacuate, Sarah recorded what would become one of the most important messages in human history. Earth Command, this is Captain Chen of the Harmony. The Vraxians have rejected peaceful contact and are attacking without provocation. They targeted our diplomatic quarter first. Message follows. Don't send another diplomatic mission. Don't send aid. And whatever you do, don't send mercy. The message burst through quantum space just as the Vraxian weapons found their mark. The Harmony's antimatter containment fields flickered and failed, turning Earth's greatest peace offering into a miniature sun. But the Vraxians' victory celebration was short-lived. As they watched the debris of the human vessel scatter across their orbit, none of them noticed the tiny quantum transmitter broadcasting a continuous signal back to Earth. None of them realized that every moment of their betrayal had been recorded, analyzed, and transmitted. And none of them knew that in the secured bunkers beneath Earth's major cities, ancient protocols were being dusted off. Warning signs flashed to life, and sealed doors opened for the first time in centuries. In her underground office in Geneva, Fleet Admiral Helena Vasquez watched the final moments of the Harmony replay on her quantum display. Her face remained impassive, but her hands clenched into fists. They really did it, General Marcus Wong said quietly. They actually attacked a diplomatic vessel. Yes, Helena replied, entering her command codes into the ancient terminal before her. They did. And now they'll learn why humanity chose peace, not because we had to, but because we remembered what we're capable of when we don't. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, Luna, and Earth's oceans, massive doors began to open. Ships that had been hidden for centuries powered up their systems. And in classified facilities across the solar system, men and women who had trained in secret for generations reported for duty. The Vraxians had mistaken humanity's peaceful overtures for weakness. They had assumed that Earth's apparent lack of military vessels meant they were defenseless. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. As Helena activated the final protocol, she thought of Sarah Chen and the crew of the Harmony. Their sacrifice would not be in vain. Send the alert to all commands, she ordered. Implementation of the Sleeping Giant Protocol is now in effect. Across the solar system, humanity's real fleet began to wake up. The Vraxians had wanted to teach humanity a lesson about the harsh realities of the galaxy. Instead, they were about to learn one themselves. Never mistake kindness for weakness, and never, ever, attack a species that chose peace precisely because they were too good at war. Project Phoenix. The Vraxian High Command celebrated their victory over the human vessel for exactly 3 days. On the 4th day, their long-range sensors detected something impossible. High Commander Zexfral stood in the command center, his crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the emergency lights as reports flooded in. "Explain to me," he said quietly, "how a species that supposedly had no military fleet just deployed 5,000 warships from the dark side of their moon." Strategic analyst Kervin's sensory crystals pulsed with anxiety. The vessels were hidden, High Commander, powered down and shielded with technology we cannot understand. Our scans showed nothing. Hidden, Zexfral repeated. For how long? Based on radiation dating. Centuries. The implications hit like a gravitational wave. While humanity had been sending out peaceful exploration vessels, trading with primitive species, and seemingly fumbling with basic space travel, they had been building, preparing, waiting. In Earth orbit, Fleet Admiral Helena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the ESS Reckoning, the first of Earth's Phoenix-class dreadnoughts to break cover. Unlike the sleek, diplomatic lines of the Harmony, the Reckoning was all sharp angles and brutally efficient design. Its hull, composed of metamaterials developed in secret over generations, could absorb enemy fire and redirect the energy to its weapons. "All Phoenix fleet vessels report ready," her AI assistant reported. "Project Hydra is online. The Lazarus Protocol is armed and tracking." Helena allowed herself a small smile. The Vraxians had thought they were dealing with naive newcomers to galactic politics. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. "Send the message," she ordered. Across Vraxian space, every quantum communication device, every subspace receiver, and even their most secure channels lit up with a single transmission. The message played in perfect Vraxian, translated by AI systems that had been studying their language since first contact. "You thought we were weak because we offered peace. You assumed our diplomatic vessel was all we had. Let us educate you about humanity's true nature. We tried peace first because we remember what we're capable of when peace fails. Your attack on the Harmony has awakened something you cannot comprehend. You have 3 hours to surrender unconditionally. After that, we will demonstrate why humanity chose to hide its teeth behind a peaceful smile." In the Vraxian Command Center, tactical displays lit up with impossible readings. The human ships weren't just advanced. They were utilizing technologies that the Vraxians had deemed theoretical. Quantum-locked armor that could redirect energy attacks. Artificial gravity wells that could tear ships apart at the atomic level. Weapons that didn't just destroy their targets. They erased them from existence. "High Commander," Kervin's voice shook, "we're detecting energy signatures from their fleet that match our most advanced theoretical weapons research. Research we've never successfully implemented." "How?" Zexfral demanded. "How could they have developed this technology in secret?" "Because," came a new voice, as Admiral Vasquez's hologram appeared in their command center, bypassing all their security protocols. "We remembered our history. Humanity nearly destroyed itself with war once. When we reached the stars, we made a choice. We would present ourselves as peaceful explorers, yes, but we would never, ever be defenseless again." Her hologram gestured, and suddenly the Vraxians could see it all. Massive shipyards hidden in dimensional pockets throughout the solar system, quantum computing centers buried in the cores of dead planets, training facilities where generations of humans had prepared in secret for the day when peace might fail. "We call it Project Phoenix," Helena continued, "named after a mythical bird that rises from its own ashes. For centuries, we've maintained 2 fleets. The peaceful one we showed the galaxy, and the one we prayed we'd never have to use. You forced our hand. You woke the phoenix, and now you get to learn why every human child learns this lesson. The truly dangerous ones aren't those who bare their fangs at every provocation. The truly dangerous ones are those who have fangs, but choose to smile instead. The Vraxian High Command watched in horror as their long-range sensors detected more human ships emerging from hiding places throughout their own territory. Vessels that had been lying dormant for years, disguised as debris or cloaked with technology beyond Vraxian understanding. 3 hours, Helena reminded them. Surrender, and we can return to peace, though this time with a better understanding between us. Refuse. She didn't need to finish the threat. The Vraxians had already seen enough to know that humanity's peaceful overtures hadn't been signs of weakness. They had been warnings. Warnings that had gone unheeded. As Zexfral stared at the tactical displays, showing the overwhelming force surrounding his civilization, he finally understood. Humanity hadn't been playing at diplomacy because they were weak. They had been playing at diplomacy because they were strong enough to afford mercy. And now, thanks to his actions, that mercy had run out. The counterstrike. The Vraxians didn't surrender. Admiral Helena Vasquez hadn't expected them to. Species that attacked diplomatic vessels rarely had the wisdom to recognize when they were outmatched. That's why Project Phoenix had included extensive studies of Vraxian psychology. They're deploying their quantum crystalline fleet, reported Commander Jack Santos, his dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. 9,000 ships, their entire military force. Helena nodded, watching the crystalline vessels arrange themselves in traditional Vraxian combat formations. Beautiful, geometrically perfect, and utterly predictable. Begin Phase 1. Across the battlefield, human ships engaged their quantum mimetic systems, technology that had been developed in secret for centuries activated, transforming the human fleet into perfect copies of Vraxian vessels. In the Vraxian Command Center, chaos erupted. High Commander. Curvin's crystals pulsed with panic. We've lost target lock. Our systems can't distinguish their ships from ours. Impossible, Zexfral snarled. Our recognition protocols are based on quantum crystalline signatures that we've been studying since first contact. Helena's voice cut in through their communications. Did you really think those trade missions were just about cultural exchange? Every human ship that visited your space was mapping your technology, learning your protocols, understanding how to become you. The human fleet split into precise geometric patterns, mirroring Vraxian tactical doctrine perfectly. Then, to the horror of the Vraxian commanders, they began to execute maneuvers that improved upon those ancient formations. Phase 2, Helena commanded. The real demonstration of humanity's capabilities began. Human ships didn't just copy Vraxian technology. They showed how it could be used in ways the Vraxians had never imagined. Quantum crystalline engines, pushed beyond their designed limits by human AI systems, created cascading resonance fields that shattered Vraxian shields without firing a shot. They're using our own technology against us, Curvin whispered. But how? The energy requirements alone. Because we didn't just study your technology, Helena explained, her hologram appearing again in their command center. We improved it. Every trade agreement, every cultural exchange, every seemingly innocent question about your society's history. We were learning how your species thinks, how you approach problems, and most importantly, what solutions you'd never consider because they didn't fit your cultural framework. On the tactical displays, human ships demonstrated impossible maneuvers. They linked their quantum fields in ways that Vraxian doctrine had dismissed as too chaotic, creating synchronized attack patterns that bypassed defensive formations designed to counter traditional weapons. Observe, Helena continued, as her fleet executed a particularly elegant maneuver. Your quantum crystalline technology is beautiful, efficient, and logical, but you use it like artists admiring their own work. We studied it like engineers looking for failure points. To demonstrate, a squad of human ships activated their modified quantum drives simultaneously. The resulting resonance cascade rippled through space, causing dozens of Vraxian vessels to simply stop existing as their quantum matrices collapsed. You see, Helena's voice was almost gentle now. Humanity has a long history of taking other cultures' innovations and finding new ways to use them. You thought your technology was perfect because it followed the pure laws of quantum mechanics. We looked at those same laws and asked, how can we break them? In the Vraxian Command Center, Zexrel watched as centuries of military doctrine crumbled before human innovation. His fleet's formations, once considered the pinnacle of tactical efficiency, were being torn apart by ships using bastardized versions of his own people's technology. The truly fascinating thing, Helena added, as another wave of human ships demonstrated yet another impossible application of Vraxian principles, is that we developed most of these techniques centuries ago, just in case we ever needed them. Project Phoenix wasn't just about building ships. It was about understanding every species we met, learning their strengths, and preparing countermeasures that they would never expect. A human vessel dove through the heart of the Vraxian formation, its quantum field modulated in a way that should have torn it apart. Instead, it created a cascade of interference patterns that left Vraxian ships helplessly entangled with their own defensive fields. Did you notice, Helena asked, how our diplomatic vessels always seemed slightly inefficient in their use of quantum technology? How we asked such basic questions about principles your children understood? That wasn't ignorance. That was restraint. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the mighty Vraxian fleet hung motionless in space, their quantum systems locked in endless recursion by human counter-protocols. Now then, Helena's hologram stood in the center of the Vraxian Command Center, surrounded by stunned military leaders. Shall we discuss the terms of your surrender? And this time, perhaps you'll understand that our preference for diplomatic solutions isn't because we lack alternatives. As the Vraxian High Command formally surrendered, Helena thought about the crew of the Harmony. Their sacrifice had forced humanity to reveal its true nature to the galaxy. But perhaps that wasn't entirely a bad thing. Sometimes, the best way to maintain peace was to remind everyone why you chose it in the first place. Unexpected allies. The recording of humanity's battle with the Vraxian fleet spread across the galaxy like a quantum wave. In council chambers, command centers, and diplomatic halls throughout known space, advanced civilizations watched with growing fascination and concern as humans demonstrated capabilities that should have been impossible for such a young species. The Meridian Conclave, oldest of the galaxy's major powers, called an emergency session for the first time in 10,000 years. They hid this level of technological advancement for centuries. Elder Vaxtith of the Meridian observed, their bioluminescent patterns shifting with agitation. While presenting themselves as peaceful explorers, they were building a war machine that could rival our own. Not rival, Elder Sinilul corrected, her crystalline form sparkling under the council lights. Exceed. The humans didn't just defeat the Vraxians, they revolutionized quantum warfare itself. In Earth orbit, Admiral Helena Vasquez was dealing with an unexpected problem. Diplomatic requests. Not from the humbled Vraxians, but from dozens of species that had previously shown little interest in human affairs. The Meridian Conclave is requesting a formal audience, Commander Santos reported, scrolling through the endless diplomatic communications. So are the Zethkari Collective, the Avalon Dominion, and, well, pretty much everyone. Helena sighed. This had been anticipated in the Phoenix protocols, but the reality was still overwhelming. What's the analysis of their communications? Fascinating mix, Santos replied. Some are clearly terrified and wanting to establish non-aggression pacts. Others are practically begging for technological exchanges. But the most interesting, he paused, double-checking his data, are the ones expressing relief. Relief? Yes, Admiral. Particularly from younger spacefaring species. According to our diplomatic AI's analysis, they see us as, well, as proof that you can be both peaceful and powerful. In the depths of space, aboard the massive world ship of the Zethkari Collective, first speaker Arxthal reviewed the data from the human-Vraxian conflict for the 100th time. "Do you understand now?" they asked their council. The humans weren't hiding their capabilities out of fear or deception. They were giving the galaxy a chance to choose peace first. The council chamber erupted in a chorus of electromagnetic pulses as the Zethkari debated this interpretation. The humans' demonstration of power had shaken the established order of the galaxy, but it was their restraint that truly frightened and impressed the older species. They could have conquered half the galaxy by now, another council member observed. Instead, they built their war fleet and kept it hidden, hoping they'd never need to use it. More than that, Arxthal added, they continued to advance peaceful relations even while preparing for war. Every diplomatic mission, every trade agreement, every cultural exchange. They were simultaneously learning about potential threats and offering genuine friendship. Back on Earth, Helena found herself in a secure video conference with representatives from 30 major galactic powers. The Meridian Elders' bioluminescence pulsed with curiosity as they asked the question everyone wanted answered. Why maintain the deception? Why not simply demonstrate your power from the beginning? Helena's response was carefully worded, following guidelines established centuries ago in the Phoenix Protocols. Because humanity remembered its own history. We nearly destroyed ourselves with war before we reached the stars. When we looked to the galaxy, we saw two paths. We could show our strength and be respected out of fear, or we could offer peace while maintaining the capability to defend it. And now, the Zethkari first speaker asked, now that the galaxy knows your true capabilities. Helena smiled. Now we can be honest about something we've known since we first reached the stars. True peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the wisdom to be strong enough to defend it, and the courage to keep offering it anyway. The impact of humanity's revelation rippled through galactic society. Younger species, previously intimidated by the older powers, began reaching out to Earth for guidance. They saw in humanity a model for their own development, a way to grow strong without becoming aggressive, to build defenses without becoming defensive. The Avalon Dominion, renowned for their predictive matrices, presented their analysis to their High Council. The humans have fundamentally altered the galactic paradigm. They've proven that a species can choose peace without sacrificing strength, and maintain strength without succumbing to its temptations. As diplomatic vessels, real ones this time, streamed toward Earth from across the galaxy, Helena reviewed the final section of the Phoenix Protocols. It detailed exactly this scenario, the moment when humanity could finally step out of the shadows and show their true nature to the galaxy. But it wasn't their military might that drew the most attention from other species. It was the revelation that humans had spent centuries building one of the strongest military forces in known space, all while genuinely pursuing peaceful relations and technological cooperation. They're calling us the Guardian Species now, Santos reported, showing Helena the latest diplomatic communications. Apparently, we've become something of a role model for younger civilizations, how to be powerful enough to defend peace without letting that power corrupt you. Helena thought about the crew of the Harmony, whose sacrifice had forced humanity to reveal its true nature. Their mission of peace hadn't failed. It had simply taken an unexpected path to success. Sometimes, the best way to teach the galaxy about peace was to show them exactly what you were capable of in war. A new galactic order. 5 years after the Vraxian incident, the galaxy had changed in ways no predictive matrix could have anticipated. The massive chamber of the new Galactic Council on Earth bore testament to these changes. Representatives from over 200 spacefaring civilizations gathered in a space that seamlessly blended architectural styles from across the galaxy. Admiral Helena Vasquez, now Earth's senior representative to the Council, stood at the podium. Behind her, through the chamber's transparent ceiling, ships from dozens of species moved in carefully choreographed patterns, a dance of cooperation that would have been impossible just a few years ago. The Harmony Memorial, she announced, is now complete. The holographic display activated, showing a massive space station at the former site of the Vraxian conflict. Built in the shape of the diplomatic vessel that had sacrificed itself to reveal humanity's true nature, it served as both a testament to peace and a reminder of its price. A remarkable achievement, the Vraxian representative, Kervin, acknowledged. The former strategic analyst had become an advocate for his species' cultural transformation. Built with technology from all our civilizations, dedicated to ensuring such misunderstandings never happen again. The station was more than a memorial. It housed the galaxy's most advanced diplomatic training center, where species learned from humanity's example, how to maintain strength while pursuing peace, how to prepare for conflict while working to avoid it. The Harmony Protocols, Helena continued, have now been adopted by 70% of known spacefaring civilizations. She allowed herself a small smile, an interesting improvement over the original Phoenix protocols that inspired them. The Harmony Protocols were humanity's gift to the galaxy, a template for developing military strength and defensive capabilities while maintaining genuine diplomatic engagement. They taught the lesson humanity had learned centuries ago. True power lay not in the ability to win wars, but in the wisdom to prevent them. In the station's quantum computing core, the combined knowledge of hundreds of civilizations worked to predict and prevent conflicts before they could begin. The Vraxians, humbled by their defeat, but elevated by humanity's subsequent friendship, had contributed their quantum crystalline technology to the effort. We've confirmed another 30 applications for membership in the Guardian Initiative, Commander Santos, now Chief of Interspecies Relations, reported. The program, which paired older species with developing civilizations, had revolutionized how the galaxy handled first contact situations. The Meridian Elders' bioluminescence pulsed with approval. The humans continue to surprise us. They've turned their revelation of power into a framework for galactic cooperation, because they understood something we have forgotten. First Speaker Arxthal of the Zeth Carry added, that showing strength without using it can be more powerful than any weapon. In the years since the Vraxian incident, humanity had helped establish new protocols for technological development throughout the galaxy. Species were encouraged to develop defensive capabilities, but also to maintain transparency about their development. The age of hidden fleets was over, replaced by an era of mutual security through shared strength. The latest reports from the frontier zones are encouraging, Helena announced to the Council. The combined patrol fleets have completely eliminated piracy in 3 more sectors. The Joint Defense Initiative, combining ships and crews from multiple species, had proven remarkably effective. But perhaps the most profound change was cultural. Young species no longer had to choose between being peaceful or powerful. Humanity had shown there was another way: to build strength while genuinely pursuing peace, to prepare for war while working tirelessly to prevent it. The Avalon Dominion's predictive matrices had been revised repeatedly as the new paradigm spread throughout the galaxy. Their latest analysis showed a 60% reduction in interspecies conflicts over the past 5 years. The humans, their report concluded, have accomplished something unprecedented. They've made peace the pragmatic choice without removing the capability for war. In her private moments, Helena often visited the Harmony Memorial's central chamber, where the names of the diplomatic vessel's crew were inscribed in the quantum crystalline walls. Their sacrifice had forced humanity to reveal its true nature to the galaxy, but in doing so, they had achieved something greater than anyone could have imagined. The memorial's AI spoke softly. Administrator, the new class of diplomatic cadets has arrived. Helena turned to see young representatives from dozens of species entering the chamber. They would learn not just diplomacy, but the complex balance humanity had mastered. How to build strength without becoming threatening, how to prepare for conflict while actively working to avoid it. Welcome, she said, to the Harmony Academy. You're here because your species have chosen a challenging path, to be both peaceful and powerful, to build defenses while working to ensure you never need them, to learn from humanity's example that the strongest civilizations are not those that win wars, but those that prevent them. As she looked at the eager young faces, some humanoid, some crystalline, some purely energy-based. Helena thought about how far the galaxy had come. The Vraxians had attacked Earth's diplomatic vessel believing they were teaching humanity a lesson about power. Instead, humanity had taught the galaxy a lesson about peace. And this time, it was a lesson that would never be forgotten.